The Magic Podcast. Hosted by Lloyd Barnes and Craig Petty. Your all-access, behind-the-scenes insight into the current happenings of the magic industry. Where Craig and Lloyd will thrust themselves deep inside your ears every Wednesday to rant, dissect, and give you their raw and unfiltered views on the art of magic. So, lock your door, take out your deck, and brace yourself for the Magic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Magic Podcast right here with me, Craig Petty.
And me, Lloyd. I can't do the whole name thing, right?
Okay, with me, Craig Petty, and Tangerine Bobblehead, Mr. Lloyd Barnes, the man who's building an empire out of plastic elephants.
You look like someone shaved a fucking pug and then removed a chromosome. How you doing, man? Well, what a week. People are... You are, again, the topic of conversation.
I remember having a conversation with you, and I remember saying to you, a month or two after Blackpool, I remember saying to you, Lloyd, okay, because last year was the whole fallout of the atomic deck. And I kind of went through a bit of I seem to remember I actually shut down Magic TV for a little while. And I said, I'm never going to have another controversial Blackpool ever again. I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with the negativity. And here I am with another Blackpool. And there's a bit of...
You are the topic of the talk of the day. Thank you for my coffee, Kaylee, Michael, and Thomas. Love you guys. It's walked in my morning coffee. Yeah. Another Blackpool where, yet again, you are the talk of the town. But
the point
I'm glad people are talking. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. People are talking about this.
And I think
they're allowed to.
They are allowed to. I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Pardon the pun. Elephant.
My cock.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure I didn't say tadpole in the room. We need to address the elephant in the room. And look, there's a lot of stuff I can't say because the bottom line is this is an active, ongoing federal investigation or lawsuit. This is in federal court in America, and there's a lot of stuff that I can't say or I'm not going to be able to say. I know you're going to ask me some questions. You want to have some stuff cleared up and kind of Q&A. The one thing that I want to say before you ask any questions is I want to thank everybody. You know, it's been a very, very stressful couple of weeks, like more stressful than you can possibly imagine, not just for me, but for my whole family. Sarah especially is very, very stressed. She doesn't deal with stress at the best of times anyway. And as you can imagine, being sued by somebody in America and actually having it impact us over here in the UK is incredibly stressful. I've had a lot of sleepless nights, and for everybody that's helped and supported and, commented and interacted in any way, shape or form, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. I really do. More than you could possibly know. And for everybody that's reached out, for so many people that have reached out to me and that have phoned me, that can't say anything publicly for a variety of different reasons. They don't want to let anyone know that they've supported me publicly, and I totally get that. I mentioned that in the video that I made. But for everyone that's commented, for everyone that's messaged me, for everyone that's texted me, for everyone that's rung me up, thank you. Like John Morton, for example, he has been texting me since this thing kicked off every morning at like 8 o'clock with a "I'm just checking in that you're okay" text message every single day. Which tells you the sort of thing that John is like, because honestly, and I'll be completely honest with you guys, I was in a very dark place when this first kicked off, because it was a case of, right, okay, soon I have to deal with this. I have to work out a way. I have to figure out a way to deal with this, and avoiding it, unfortunately, isn't an option. And we'll talk about that if you bring up this in a question. Avoiding it isn't an option. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what to do. And everyone I spoke
I think the first thing we can bring up is that obviously I called you and I said, be prepared when this goes live. one of the things that I've learned I learned it in a business sense, but it applies to life. Two things, like you can't make everyone like you. But the business term that I learned it was 5% of all people will hate what you do, regardless of what it is. So I said to you, when this campaign goes live, be prepared. 5% of people are going to talk shit about you or it, regardless. I said, because you've got Eagles diehard fans, which are, which will go to the ends of the earth for him, regardless of what he's done. And then you've got some people that don't like you in general. So regardless of the why the fight is existing or what you're standing up for, even for those people, they're not going to like it. And surprisingly, there's like 2 commenters that consistently comment, which are taking up most of the airspace. The one that's calling him handsome and calls Yigal handsome and a badass. I think you might have a bit of a crush on him. Him and one other guy, and then there's a handful of others, but really overwhelmingly the majority of people have been positive. But the ones which are, I don't want to call anyone out for what they're saying. Everyone can have and that's the beautiful thing. Everyone's allowed to share their opinion. This is what you're standing up for. They're allowed to say all these things about you. You're not going to sue them. And I think that's kind of the point they're missing. But the one that I read is that someone said you're making this up for profit. And that was just kind of sickening to read, because I've seen either side of the phone calls. I've heard Sarah in the background when she was sick, when you first got served and she had to run to the toilet to be sick. I've seen the tears, the upset, how it's affecting the kids. And when someone says you're doing this just for profit, even though all the money goes to the solicitor and the charity after the case for what you win back, so you actually don't see a penny, that's kind of sickening to read, because people really, really, really don't believe that this is happening. And I think partly that shows that they can't grasp how, like, they must be like thinking, partly there's no fucking way Yigal would stoop this low. And yes, he has. And B, they, for some reason, although I think you're the most honest person in the community, because you get in a lot of trouble for saying a lot of shit, and sometimes people don't agree with it. For some reason, they don't trust you on this, which is bonkers. Anyway, can you just explain how very real this is? And I'm laughing because it's absurd that I think maybe because I've seen behind the scenes, so I mean, first of all, they can go and search it online. They can see the whole case online on the federal government site.
I can't go very much deep into this, but the bottom line is I was served. Well, I wasn't. So a lawsuit was taken out by Yiga Masika against me and Penguin Magic on August the 22nd. And I took legal advice at that point from a UK lawyer. And but just so you know, Penguin and I are not communicating about this at all. We can't. Although we're co-defendants, they have their lawyers. They have their own strategy for dealing with this. I have my own strategy for dealing with this. So, and not only have we not talked about it, we can't talk about it because it's a conflict of interest. So even though I work with Penguin and you're going to see me on their booth at Blackpool this weekend, we're not having strategy campaign meetings about how to deal with this. It's a conflict of interest. They are doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. But I've got lawyers and I've got friends that are lawyers in the UK, and they told me the best thing to do is just to ignore it because it's very unlikely that he will serve you in the UK. So I just did that. I just ignored it. And then about a week and a half ago, like I said in the video, I had a guy turn up to my office. He gave my member, I was in a meeting, a member of staff answered the door. They said, "Where is Craig Petty?" And they said he's in a meeting. And they got handed the complaint, had their photo taken or whatever. And then I was served. And when I looked into it, it is possible to serve somebody in the UK through the Hague Convention. It's not easy. But it is possible. And for anybody who has said to me, and a lot of people have said, just ignore it jurisdictionally, you can just ignore it. No, you can't, unfortunately. I wish you could. Go and check on AI and just say, if I'm a UK resident and I am served through the Hague Convention by a USA plaintiff, can I, is the best course of action to ignore it? And the answer is no. I was given until the 19th of February to respond. And if I didn't respond, I would be in default. If I am in default, it means that everything that he wants in the lawsuit would automatically be granted to him, and I wouldn't be there to defend myself. And then he can apply through the UK courts to whatever the ruling is, take that from me. Just like any debt, it would then go into the hands of debt collectors, and it would be a process for him to be able to do that. But no difficult a process than it is to serve me in the first place. It's absolutely possible, and would also affect me ever going back into the UK.
To the US.
So avoiding that isn't an issue. For people that say, "Oh, you he can't do anything," well, yes, he can. He really can. And then the problem then became, well, what do I do about this? And every lawyer I spoke to in the UK couldn't really help me because it's a federal case in California. So you have to have a lawyer who's based in California, licensed to practice in California, that is, but ideally an expert in First Amendment.
This is the bit that, so I'm so sorry. This is the bit that I absolutely love, that this is the mic drop moment for me. Is I've had messages from giant magicians that when they realized that Mark J. Randazza was representing you, because they know a lot of these magicians have had their, been in situations like this, they were like, "Oh fuck, I did not realize Craig was absolutely gonna do this." Like, like it's kind of like bringing a nuclear warhead to a spitball fight.
Look, I can't say too much. What I will say is Mark Randazza, my lawyer, I spent a lot of time looking into my legal options, and I chose Randazza because it feels like him and I would gel. He is to law what I am to magic, I feel.
Very much so.
And he's very good at this, and he specializes in First Amendment, and he specializes in free speech. But he's not cheap. Like, for people that say, I saw some people say, "Oh, this is a way of Craig profiteering from this." Just so you know, just to retain Mark, I've spent 25,000 already just to retain him. Which is, some people say that's expensive. That's not expensive. That's
basically just getting on his books.
Oh yeah, that's not doing anything. That's not the fees. That's just having him say, "Yes, I will represent you."
A valid question for everyone that's messaging or asking, or if anyone is wondering. The question being, why are you not fully funding this yourself? Right? Because you run 2 businesses. You're a successful man. It's a valid question. I think it should be answered.
It is a very valid question. And the answer is very simple. Go back and look at the deep dive that I did over myself over Christmas. I was very, very honest in that deep dive. Go back and look at it. Because in that deep dive, I very clearly said the last 4 or 5 years have been ridiculous. Now, COVID was horrible for everybody. Like, not a single person got out of COVID well. For me, COVID was extra specially tough because running an entertainment agency that specializes in live events, you literally just shut the entire thing down. And myself and Sarah, we had an option. And the option was we could have just shut everything down, walked away, and just waited for the whole thing to be over. Or the other option is we could keep the business going, and we could try to get gigs. We could pivot to virtual gigs, and we could try to get gigs for all of our entertainers and do it virtually. And that's what we decided to do. But we couldn't charge as much for virtual gigs as we could do for normal gigs. And the other problem was, like self-employed people, Lloyd, do you remember during COVID, self-employed people were getting a grant, and a lot of employed people were furloughed. Well, we furloughed most of our staff, other than one apprentice. But in order for the business to stay open, we had to not furlough ourselves. We had to, when we made the decision to keep the business on over COVID, we couldn't furlough ourselves, and we're not self-employed, so we didn't get a grant or anything like that. So we had nothing. But also, I was doing so many virtual shows, but I was plowing that money straight back into the business because I had a bunch of entertainers and I needed them to go out and get work. They had no money. I needed to help them. So I was going out and literally just paying to do more marketing, to get more gigs to give to all of our entertainers. And so coming out of COVID, and I'm not exaggerating, we must have had about 200 to 250,000 pounds worth of debt. Like, and we had every single accountant say to us, just shut the business down. And I was like, dumb as a post. I was like, no. And it's a scary thought when just after COVID finishes, we have somebody knock on our office door. We've just opened the office back up again. And HMRC employee walks in and says, hey, right, this is what you owe. We want it now. And we're like, we can't give it you now. So we had to give them everything in the bank account. I think it was like £80,000 that we just signed over to HMRC. And from that point on, we put a payment plan in place where we were paying back HMRC. And because I was talking to you about it, it ended in November 2025.
I remember I had a phone call. So I was on the phone to you, and there was like commotion in the background, and you're like, "Oh fuck, we got to pay." I don't want to say the amount. It's personal.
I'll happily tell you.
Basically, commotion in the background. You'd had someone walk into the office to talk to Sarah about VAT, and it was like all happening. We were talking about something else, and you're like, "Oh my fucking god." Yeah, I think the easiest way to understand is
just one more thing to point out about that. So from that point until November just gone, I was paying £6,500, £7,000 to HMRC every month. Think about that. Imagine you're running a business and you have to find £7,000 every single month before you even start trading every month. Yeah. So how did we do that? I'm just going to say one thing, which is really important. Is what you asked the question. I really need to say this. So the last 4.5 years, every penny has gone back into the business. Every single penny has gone back into the business. And we've paid that back. And now we're clear, which is amazing. But we've paid it back by living cheap. We have been taking minimum wage. That's what we've been taking. Every other penny has gone back into the business. And over the last 4.5 years, we've pretty much exhausted our savings, putting the business into a position where it's now doing really well. Now, we're lucky that the business is now in a position where it's better than ever before. January, we had the best January on record. We had more gigs, we had more inquiries, we had more bookings, but we're starting from negative. So now what we're doing, and we looked at 2026 as the growth year, right? We've paid up all that COVID debt. 2026, that's when we're going to get back into this. That's when we're really going to start building our savings back up again, building the business back up again. And then this hits us. And we're in a situation where we spent our savings. And I'll be honest with you, people say, oh, you release 50 tricks a year. Surely you got a ton of money from that. Well, you make money from doing magic. But I've already told you don't make a fortune as a creator. And a lot of the time, the money that I've made as a creator, I've thrown back into my businesses to make sure that they continue to grow and they continue to grow. And, I saw one person say, oh, Craig's a billionaire because he buys £12,500 illusions every week. Well, no, I don't. I don't buy those illusions every single week. But yeah, I have bought illusions. And the reason I've done that is simply because that's my business. My business is providing entertainment and live events. That's like saying to somebody, oh, that person's evil because he's a billionaire, because he sells lots of Haribo in his shop. We have events that go out. We need those props in order to fill those events. For us, buying a magic trick to a lot of people is buying a magic trick. To us, when we buy a specific prop, it's a business expense because we need it, and we've normally offset the cost against what we're charging the client for that particular event. So, yeah. Sorry, Lloyd. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like I joke, not joke, but I always like say, hi, you're a fucking millionaire, blah, blah, blah. I'd say on the podcasts. And because it's the cash flow of the business is so good. And it's just like, but it's exactly the point you made, which is the point that I was going to make, which is like, if any shop that's successful, most of them are, because you have a lot of employees too, and a lot of entertainers on your books, most of them are in that position where, like, if they sold everything and got rid of all their staff, they could retire and never have to work another day in their lives. But that would mean selling everything and getting rid of their staff. Same situation for you, is that your business is really, really fucking good, but you don't really see a penny of it. I just sort of half rip on you. I just half rip on you that, that's the case. But anyway, I hope that cleared the question up, because I asked you the same thing as like, Craig, man, like, why don't you Why don't you try and do this all and keep it all private?
And I can to a point. So
yeah, you have to a point, like 25 grand on top of your monthly expenses, on top of paying every member fucking of staff that you have a couple of grand a month, and on top of the 100 entertainers on your books, and you've still gone ahead and retained Mark Randazza and other fees in the background that people are unaware of. But this is
I've probably sunk about 45 grand into this at this point
of liquid cash.
Yeah,
which is anyway. That goes to say that it's a very real situation. But on the positive side, and I can speculate this, it's very likely that the fees will be recovered when you win. And it's very likely then that you can, if you would like to, I'll just say this, that, if I was in your situation, because people need to remember, you didn't choose to do this to him. You didn't do this. This all started because he did something behind the scenes, which is explained in your video, to somebody else, a smaller creator. That smaller creator doesn't have a platform to defend themselves. And in the position that I was in, if no light was shone on it, it was going to go unspoken about, and it was going to remain as an injustice, like many times before. And you were like, you know what? Nah, this isn't right. I know I'm probably going to open myself up here because of the type of person, because of his history, but I cannot stand by to see this happen to someone else. So you made a video about it like you always do, and you were but for the first time ever, probably, you were very, 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 very calm, very collected. You went and interviewed people. You made sure you got public information. You crossed your I's and dotted your T's, and you made sure to state clearly throughout that it was your opinion because of who we're dealing with. And you made that video, and it turned the tides. You won the court of public opinion, and I think that's probably what was most upsetting to him. And also the product, Airflight, was reinstated because
it never happens, by the way. Murphys never do.
Normally behind the scenes, they just keep these things off the shelves to not upset the apple cart. So you did a lot of good to the Magic community there, and it showed that if anybody else is in that sort of position, that the tides of justice can turn. So that's what you did. You stood up for the smaller guy being hammered for something that was wrong. And this is the retaliation for it. And so if anyone thinks that you've started this by calling him out for no reason, there was a very valid reason. Some people were complaining. I'm getting into an online dispute yesterday with someone. The video you made was 3 hours long because you were very diligent in your research. They complained. They said, they were on Eagle's side because the video was 3 hours long. I said, that's insane. That's like saying, imagine this in an imaginary case. You go to court, somebody's been accused of murder, for example, and the jury say, well, there's just too much evidence to go through, so we think he's innocent. You can't. All we can do is explain it to people. We can't understand it for them. So, anyway, Yeagle started this by going after somebody for the wrong reason, just being a bully, in my opinion. You stood up for that person. You were very diligent in your research and sharing your opinions. And then he came back and countered with this lawsuit, multiple videos about you, even though you can't speak about it properly back. But I think there's going to be good. I always say you have to find the good in everything. I know that it's making Sarah ill. I know it's affecting the kids.
Very ill.
And I know it's really upsetting you. But there will be good that comes from this. I hope. I think if as long as it's hard to say too much without getting into the nitty-gritty of everything. But ultimately, winning this case means that people like myself, for example, content creators out there, people who write blogs, people who write articles, people who get into an active debate online, it means that everyone will, like at the minute, genuinely, I think, oh my God, there's probably stuff that in the past that I would have spoken about openly and shared my views on. And it makes me think, oh, maybe I shouldn't. And I'm someone that, like, my therapy, in air quotes, is being honest. To a fault, getting in trouble for it, warts and all. And in my personal life is 10 times worse. I'm not one of those people that says, like, if someone says, oh, can you come to a party? I don't make up an excuse. I say, no, I don't want to go. Right? That's just the way I live my life. I shine the light. And I do it within Magic too. I think if I see an injustice in Magic, you've all seen my channel, like Craig's, not as crazy as yours, but I shine the light. I just say what happened. It's the best thing to do. And if you lost this case, it would be so damaging to so many people like myself and other people who just want to talk. Like there's people online that says Craig deserves this because he's a bully, because they think you're a bully for standing up for other people in the past, or when people have released a product that's shit and you've smashed it up and put it in the bin. Right? That's not bullying, and that's calling them out for making a bad product, doing it in a characterized way, but still calling them out. But the beautiful thing is, at the moment, right? Because no one's won or lost, and you would never do it anyway, but they're missing the point. They are free to call you a bully. They can call you a cunt. For all you care, they could call you OJ Simpson reincarnate, right? Because you're never going to go after someone for sharing their opinions or calling you names.
And I think that's the most important point. I'm never going to do that. And, so...
No real man would. In my world, if someone called me a name or accused me of something, I would state my case back, let the court of public opinion decide, and fuck off. Like a man with a backbone, some integrity. It's humiliating. It's really humiliating.
I've seen a few people say, "Oh, why is Craig talking about First Amendment? He's not an American citizen." And no, I'm not. But I'm talking about First Amendment because free speech is very important. It really is very important, just like Lloyd said right there. And I have to talk about the First Amendment because I'm being sued in America, where there are certain rules that allow people to speak freely. It is the First Amendment. But the bottom line is, no, I'm not an American citizen, but I'm not framing this as free speech to win the community over. I feel like free speech is very, very important. I have always spoken freely on my channel, and
I think, there's no one that can even. I think to even say that you are only, it's such a strange argument because I mean that is your brand.
Yeah,
that is kind of what you have
And you know what? People that say, "Oh, Craig's a bully. Craig's engineering this. Why didn't Craig just keep out of it?" I've sat here for the last 2 weeks and I've asked myself the question over and over again. If I could turn back time, would I do something different knowing what the outcome is now? The answer is no, do exactly the same thing.
Good for you.
The bottom line is, I had a friend, Mark Bennett, came to me and he did not know what to do. He was very, very upset. He didn't know what to do. And I had a way that I could help him. And looking back, I did help him because he was in a situation where there was a list of demands about his product. He was being told he had to take it off the market. He was told he had to give royalties away for every single unit sold. He was told it had to be pulled from Murphy's. And as a result of me making that video, none of that has happened. And now anybody can buy Airflight from anywhere in any shop in the world. And that's as a direct result of me making that video. So if I could turn back time, I would do exactly the same thing again. I would not change anything. And if you want to call me a bully, then fine, by all means. Have I been over the top in the past? Yes. When I came back to the community, did I think sensationalism would be the best way to win an audience over and get them to watch my channel? Yes. But for the people that think that, I haven't been like that on this channel for a couple of years now. For a couple of years.
No, you weren't in this video.
No, I wasn't in this video.
That's what you're being sued for. It's just, and the other thing is, people were saying, "Oh, well, Craig should be sued because you guys may have lost business over this." And my argument would be, well,
I don't
like that effect. If he had, if you approach Magic like a zero-sum industry where everything is going to take food off your table, then you might be afraid of things like that happening to you, and it's like a conspiracy theory. You know as well as I do. If we love the Any Card Any Number, right? We put out loads of different versions on our we teach them for free on our channels, or if there's gimmick decks, we put them out. If somebody comes out with a better version of a trick that I'm working on or I'm publishing or have published, do you know what I do? I praise it and shout it from the rooftops because a rising tide raises all ships. I love the art of Magic. I just want to see it be pushed further. This is not about profit. This is not about earning money. Yeah, to an extent, I want to keep my lights on. But thinking that every time somebody brings out a better, more advanced, innovative version of things that I've touched on, which in this case, let's be real, like Steve Sheraton and Dave Bonsall are the ones, if anyone should have been upset. You know, but Mark ethically sourced his product. Mark got the permissions from the right people. But if anyone should have been upset, it should have been those people, right? If you approach the world and life like that, it's going to lead to a very quick mental spiral down to the bottom. It's just a race to the bottom. And I think but you know, and so if he has had any, no, first of all, no one would have saw Airflight and stopped buying Masika's ring flight to the point where it would have really affected his income.
Well, look, his product
by causing this situation and the Streisand effect, potentially now in a boycott for his behaviors, it might have, but that's not your fault. That's because he started a war. He started to come down on the little man for something which he shouldn't have. So they could potentially argue, yeah, his bottom line's been affected by this, but not because of you, because of his own doing. Which is a tough pill to swallow. If I've broken my toe because I've kicked a door in anger, that ain't the door's fault.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
But anyway, I don't think we need to talk about it too much. He's got his supporters that are never going to back down. There are people that hate you. So there's nothing in this world that you're going to do that are going to convince them that you wanted to win. And he has a couple of diehard fans that just keep posting the same thing over and over and over again. They're lost causes. They don't care who's on the right side of history. They just want you to lose.
The one thing that I'm going to say is this. You are free for your opinion. If you think that I'm the worst person in the world and I brought this on myself, that's your opinion. If you feel like I should roll over and play dead, that's your opinion. If you feel that I'm monopolizing or monetizing this situation, that's your opinion. If you choose to support me, that's your opinion. And I thank you either way. I really, really do. The one thing that I'll say, and the one thing that's come up over and over again from people that are not necessarily on my side, is they people that are kind of more on the fence about the whole situation. They'll say, the two of them are as bad as each other. There's no good that's been bought into them through the community. They're both as bad as each other. And look, I'm not going to say what one creator has done versus another creator. What I will tell you is a lot of creators, you won't see them unless they bring out a trick. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how it's always been in this industry. If you'll see a creator pop up and there's a new trick to be marketed, and then you won't see them again until their next trick pops up. You look at Yeagle. I mean, we can't argue. He is a very, very good performer, and his tricks are performed by people all over the world, right? But how often do you actually see him at conventions? How often do you see him online? And then you go and look at...
Hasn't he only posted like 4 videos and they're all talking shit about you and Penguin?
Exactly. And then, you may hate me, and that's absolutely fine. But, without blowing my trumpet too much, there is nobody in this industry that does as much for this community as me right now. Look at, so many people have been saying, oh, I can't wait for Craig's YouTube video series to start, where he interviews all of the people coming up at Blackpool. Do you know how long it takes to do?
Well, let me take the mic from here, Craig, because you don't have to big yourself up. One thing no one can argue on is that your number one goal in this world, aside from looking after your family, is giving back to the Magic community. You make yourself fucking ill because you are so dead set on making videos that help make magicians better magicians, help make them better performers, help make them get more gigs, help make them look after their money if they want to buy certain products. You film those YouTube videos constantly, and I shout at you for it. I argue with you for it. I know you get into arguments at home over it because you're so, and you understand that you don't need to make this many, right? You are a prolific magic creator, and if you had no YouTube channel, the amount of products you put out would still keep you in the forefront of people's mind. You're not. I think it's really important to understand you don't give back to this community from a branding perspective, from an advertisement perspective. Somebody was arguing that you do this to make money on YouTube from the ad revenue. Let me tell you now, probably in your best month ever, you may have made, I would wager maybe £1,000 in a month on YouTube ad revenue. I'd wager in your
best ever month was 800. Typically it's about 4.
Yeah, right. That's the size of your channel. That's roughly where it is. You lose so much damn money on this channel. You don't need to do it from a branding or advertising perspective. Your sole purpose and the thing that you keep saying to me and people privately, and when we're saying to you, Craig, it's 4 a.m. Stop it. You've done 7 videos teaching people how to make their websites better for SEO. You're teaching people how to get more bookings. You've done 7 of these videos this week. You don't need to do another 13. And you just say, I want to give back. I want to give back. And it's all the redemption arc from 15 years ago when you made one fucking mistake and have paid the toll on it a million times, right? All you want to do is give back and help the community. Keep saying it. Rising tide raises all ships. The thing that you will definitely not talk about, and someone mentioned this on the phone to me yesterday, is the amount of people that you help behind the scenes. The outpouring of... Somebody messaged me, oh man, I want to support Craig. A couple of years ago, I was in a bad place. I had nothing. This guy has no profile in Magic at all, right? You put him up in a hotel for a month just because he had nowhere to live. I could literally name 20 people off the top of my head right now that you've paid for to go to conventions, and you don't want them to never talk about it or tell people about it. There are people you've given money to, people that have been abusive to you. You've sent them money because they put up a video saying they can't afford new laptops. You've sent them money. There are people you've literally helped that don't like you because you cannot stand to see people in need of help. You knew this was likely to happen when you helped Mark Bennett. You do all this shit behind the scenes, and some people don't. Some people are only in it for themselves. Some people think this is a zero-sum industry. Some people think that releasing a fucking air tag is going to take food off their table, so they come after people with legal threats and trying to sue them and bully them. Regardless of whether if I loved you or hated you, Craig, if I loved or hated Masika, on principle alone, I would have to be some sort of twisted piece of shit to not support you or not understand why I should support you. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's thank you, man. To wrap this up, it's gonna be I don't know how long this is gonna go on. It could go on weeks, it could go on months, it could go on years, I don't know. Yeah, and genuinely, for everyone that's out there that has, supported me, I really appreciate it. I really, really do, more than you know. It means the world to me. It really does, because I won't lie, it's a very difficult time. It's sleepless nights. It's it's not easy to deal with. It can, and I'm trying to take all the stress on myself, because I don't want my kids involved in this. I don't want my kids. And look, if you're coming to Blackpool, please, if you want to talk to me about this, talk to me about it. But do not talk to me about it around my wife or my kids, because I'm trying to keep them out of it as much as possible. Sarah especially is not good with stress, and she knows this is going on, but she wants, I'm trying to keep her out of it as much as possible, because she stresses, and it's making her ill. So if anybody's coming over to Blackpool and you want to speak to me about it, that's fine. But please don't speak to me about it when my wife or my kids are there. Just grab me when I'm on my own. There's going to be plenty of times I'm on my own. I just, it's a tough time, but we are going to get through it. I'm, somebody described me in some Facebook post, and it's true. I'm a fighter. I'm too dumb to quit. I'm not gonna back down. I didn't start this. I really didn't start this. I didn't want this to happen. Some people might say you did start it because you did the video. Okay, fair enough. If that's your opinion, that's fine. But from my point of view, I didn't start it. But now it's started, although I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm not gonna back down. So.
Good for you, and nor should you.
So, yeah, it's there you go.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. But
any other questions you want to ask me? I know you said you wanted to ask some questions.
I don't
try to be as honest as I can and open say as much as I can. But
no, I just want to say I think I'm blown the fuck away. I thought the campaign to raise funds to fight this case, and this is the thing, whether you are on Craig's side or not, if you think Yigal's in the right, and you can see the court of public opinion is on Craig's side, but if you think Yigal is in the right, you want to see this go to court, right? You want to see Craig lose. Fund Craig so that you could that's the thing. Both men should be able to have their say. If Yigal has started this and wants to bring it to court, right? If this is just about who's in the right and feeling like he's being bullied or whatever, right? Get it to court then. It doesn't need to be. I think we live in such a disgusting world where two men can have an argument over something and one can't afford to stand up for themselves. So whoever side you're on, if you actually want to see Yigal win, then the only way to make that happen is to support you. But either way, right? I thought that you would raise realistically like 4,000 or 5,000 in the first week, because people are not getting a product out of this. The magic community, most magicians are not well off because it's the independent artist lifestyle. They choose to perform and do gigs and have little independent releases because that's their passion and that's what they want to do. Most magicians don't have much money to spare for a cause for someone else. I thought maybe like at best like 4 or 5 grand in a week. You'd halfway fund it in 24 hours. Over halfway in 24 hours, and the outpouring and the cause behind the scenes.
And I tell you something, I sat Sarah down in front of the computer, in front of my laptop, and I said, look at all these messages, all of the messages that were in there when people donated. I said, look at all of these, sit down and look at all of these. And she was like literally shedding a tear, which is something for my wife. Of course, she's cold and dead inside. So, that's something. But no, seriously, it means the world that people have supported me, and I really appreciate it. I really do. Yeah.
That being said, yeah. So, yeah, amazing. Always find the light, right? Find the good in the bad. If you ever needed any confirmation that you're on the right side of history and you've helped, this is it.
Yeah.
You're seeing the Streisand effect play out in full force. And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Anyway, the Magic Podcast Meetup. Right, we're doing this on Tuesday. It's going live today, Tuesday, 17th of February. Tomorrow is the Magic Podcast Meetup in Blackpool.
3:00 at the House of Secrets. We can't officially make it a ticketed event. We can't do stuff on stage, but we're going to have the whole point of the Magic Podcast Meetup from day one is that we all hang out, we all meet up together, new people that are in this industry that have never been there before, or new people that have come to Blackpool. It's their first time at Blackpool. It's a great way before the convention to meet up with people that you can then arrange to hang out at the convention with, because I will tell you, the Blackpool Magic Convention is overwhelming. If you've never been here before, it is overwhelming. There is so much to see. There is so much to do. There are so many people. It can be very, very, like, bless her cotton socks last year, Thea collapsed,
Remember that?
and she had to go with the paramedics. It can be very, very overwhelming. So going to the podcast meetup is a great way to meet me. It's a great way to meet Lloyd. It's a great way to sit down and session with people. We'll show you some new stuff. You can see some new stuff from me and Lloyd. Plus, there's going to be a whole bunch of people there, and we're just going to sit around and we're going to jam, and you're going to meet some people that you can then hang out with at the convention. And there's going.
So the location hasn't changed. And in case some people haven't seen the previous episode where we discussed this, because I think it was like 3 hours deep into the episode or whatever. Basically, the House of Secrets, because they've extended their beer license for the week of Blackpool, it means that they can't have so they've extended their alcohol serving license until 2 a.m. or something, because normally it's like 11 or 12, like a normal bar. But for this week, they've extended it to run later because of the convention. When you do that, though, you can't have a certain amount of events, or you can't run events simultaneously under the Blackpool regulations, Blackpool City regulations. So when we put up the event, and we never really planned it with Russ, we just sort of said like that's where we're going. It didn't take into consideration the the county laws or whatever, or like the
the council laws or something. Yeah, so
council whatever. So that being said, everyone got Russ was told he couldn't run the event, so we had to refund everyone. He did that, but we're still gonna meet 3 p.m. House of Secrets, and it's just gonna be a casual meetup.
No, I mean, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, it's gonna be a casual meetup, and there's gonna be, just to tell everyone what this is about, because there's an ethos behind this meetup. Many years ago, we were getting a lot of messages from people saying, I'm coming to Blackpool just because I listened to the Match podcast. I've never done anything like this before, but you've convinced me. I'm going alone though, and I'm terrified, or I'm nervous. And we had enough messages to bring this up in multiple podcasts. So we said, why don't we do an initiative for people who are first-time convention goers? Let's meet up the day before the convention starts and make some new friends, so that when it comes to the weekend of the convention, which starts the following day this year, then you'll have some familiar faces, and it's just a great way to go to a convention. Instead of making friends throughout the weekend, you have a couple before you go in. That started off, and now it's turned into a thing. So yeah, come to the House of Secrets, meet new friends and old friends. We're gonna have some fun. We'll tell some behind the scenes stories probably, and just have a laugh really, and get the convention started.
Yeah.
For me, Blackpool starts tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a good idea. We've done it every single year, even when we were only doing 2 podcast episodes a year. We still kept the podcast meetup going, and it's such a good idea that Vanishing Ink ripped us off the following year. Cheers, Andy. Thanks for that, mate. It's miraculously the following year, Vanishing Ink were like, I've had a great idea. Let's do these sessions at the session where you meet up if you're new to the session. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Andy. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, we'll probably find out that they've been doing it for like a lot longer than down. No, the credit issues that we fucking got into, there's no doubt that they did it first. I wouldn't be surprised. Other things, any other orders of business? Me and you are on a stand together. Thank you, by the way, Craig, for letting me hijack your stand. And then
we turned it into the Magic Podcast meetups, the Magic Podcast stand. So now it's not just me, it's you. I'm going to spend a lot of the time on the Penguin Magic stand. But I will be jumping up and down on the Magic TV stand. But who is going to be there the entire time is the legend himself, Mr. Thomas Maloney, who is going to be there, and also Thea will be there. So Thea, who is a demi.
So basically, I'm babysitting. I can't say the word. Idiots.
Yes, you are. Yeah, so Thea and Tom are going to be there along with Maddie and you and Kaylee, and it's going to be an amazing stand.
Kaylee's not coming.
Oh, no. Oh, it's just going to be you, Tom, Thea, and Maddie then. That's cool. And Ryland is going to be on the Tricked Magic stand because apparently it's much cooler to hang out with Alex Jess than it is to hang out with his dad. So, Understandable, really. But Alex Jessen is going to have a new trick called Switchcraft by myself and him. That's like a switching envelope. It's really good. And
I thought it was a re-release of the book.
No. It's an envelope. It's a switching envelope. It's really good.
I seen the title and I was like, oh shit! I thought you'd gone through the book called Switchcraft, and Dad picked out a bunch of routines. What is it then?
No. It's a switching envelope. So basically, it's an envelope. But unlike a Himber envelope, it's one-sided. So you can put something in there.
Wow.
Yeah, you can put something in there, and the spectator can literally open it themselves and put in there whatever they want to. And then what's cool is, what's his got? Mike Davis from the British Secret Service made these. It's made out of Tyvek, so it won't break. But anything that you put in there, you can rip the front open because it's got little magnets all around the front. So you can rip the front open, and whatever was in there has changed. It looks really, really good. And I put 10 routines on the project for Alex, one of which is probably one of the best torn and restored I've ever come up with. They pick a card, they sign a card, and it's torn up by them, and it restores. It's really cool. So that's coming out. So Ryland will be there. He'll be doing that. I'll be on the Penguin booth, and if you're interested in seeing Tech Deck or Game Changer, I'll be on the Penguin booth doing that. But on the Magic TV booth, there's going to be a couple of things. First of all, there's the insane Blackpool bundle deal. Which thank you very much, Lloyd, for mentioning that on your video. I really appreciate that. It's everything that I've ever done. And it's everything that I've ever done. Like we've worked out there's £1,800 worth of magic. It's like everything I've ever done since I've come back, including a year's subscription to the silver level of the net tricks, a one-on-one session with me over Zoom, a brand new trick called Hypno Illusion, which is not coming out until later this year. All of this, and it's £500. And we put it up on pre-order. Half of them have already gone. We can only do 30. Half of them have gone. There's only 15 left. So if you want one, either, you know, go on the website, you can get it on the website, and you can pick it up at Blackpool, or come and see us earlier on, but there are only 15 left because that's all the stock I've got. I'll have a few other bits and pieces on the booth, but the main thing that I'm going to be the only person having, I'm the only person at Blackpool that's got my new trick, Cobra Coin. Cobra Coin is my take on Karate Coin.
Wow.
Alakazam won't have it. I've got 30 of them, and that's it. And so I'm going to have Cobra Coin on the booth as well. So if you want Cobra Coins, catch me. I'll dem it for you. It's one of my favorite tricks. It's my take on the Karate Coin, but it doesn't use the traditional gimmick. That'll be on the booth there as well. And yeah, so there you go. That's what I've got. And you've got golden elephants over there.
Am I right in saying that the money raised, the funds raised from this, are not going to you again? They go into the case, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, going to the case, yeah,
Legal case, right?
yeah, exactly. This is money that's going into literally.
This is the thing. You have a stand every year when you just sell. I don't even know if you break even or not on it, but it's more about just having a presence at the convention. This year though, you've worked really hard to put this together because you, for the first time probably in your adult life, you really need the help. Need the help. So you're not, when you get this bundle, I think it's really clear that people understand, like, hey, yeah, they're getting a shit ton of magic, and I think it is financially the best deal in all of Blackpool. Like, even if you just
you couldn't do this. It's impossible to do it. The only reason I can do it is because the stock is not mine. It is mine. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it is literally, like, on paper the best deal at the convention. You get a year's worth of net tricks, but it's also supporting a bigger, more important cause, which is being able to defend yourself and anyone, right? Because I think you're making a stand in this case. It's not just about you, but it's taking a stand and allowing and saying that you believe what you're standing up for is the belief that everyone should be able to share their opinion online, especially in the magic realm. You know?
Yep.
And the irony, sorry, I got to go back. Like, I just realized something. There were people saying, "Oh my god, this is such a waste of time. We shouldn't." They were complaining about it on Facebook groups. So, well, this is kind of the whole point. The fact that you can have discussions in these Facebook groups without the fear, without apparently having fear of retribution or being legally silenced because you said something that someone didn't like. That's kind of the whole point of this. So when people are saying, "Oh my god, what a waste of time," "Oh, don't keep this private, guys," it's like, that is the fucking point. Like, you were, like, just like they are, were sharing, you were shedding a light, talking about something, and this is happening to you. And it sounds like hyperbole. It sounds like fear mongering. But no one in their right mind would have ever come after anyone else like this, I don't think, because he made videos back about you, right? That should have been the end of it. Let the court of public opinion decide, like men. But, you know, and so I don't know. Anyway, so they're not just getting a bunch of free tricks, a net trick subscription free for a year, or free access to it for a year with 100, I don't know how many tricks are on this, insane. Do they get like a call with you too?
Yeah, so they get with the silver level of the net tricks, they get all of the tricks. There's over 600 tricks on there, all the sleights. 4 VMCs a month, where you have like VMCs for virtual magic clubs, where you have like sessions. There's one every single week. In fact, there's one tonight, which is exciting. But also on top of all of that, you also get a one-on-one session with me, which I normally charge 250 quid for as a one-off. It's a one-on-one, 1 hour session with me that'll be recorded and sent back to them afterwards, where they can literally get my advice on anything. You want to build your business? You want advice on being a creator? You want advice on, I don't know, being a better magician, whatever. You know, this is basically what I do in the gold membership of the community, which I haven't had new people come into for 5 years because nobody ever leaves. And, you know, you got people in there like Jay Blunt, who started off working as a McDonald's employee, never done a gig in his life. He's been working with me for 5 years now as a full-time pro and is one of the main stage performers at Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol. You look at somebody like Gwilliam Bajaya, who was doing full-time job in marketing, and now he literally travels the world doing magic. You know, the list goes on, and you look at somebody like Aries over in Canada, who was doing a full-time telesales job and now is running an agency. Like I'm very good at helping people, and you get that as part of the deal as well.
Insane. So you're not just getting all that stuff, all that good stuff. You're also helping you survive another month. The case being
That's what it is, really, to be honest. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, if you've done half already and it's Tuesday and the convention starts, does dealers open on Thursday or Friday? Is it
Thursday?
On Thursday, 2 more days. I don't know if you actually have any left. If you haven't got any left, then, well, yeah. But to secure it, just go to your site, Magic.
And there's a thing that says bundle deal. Click on there. There's a link where you can reserve it, and then it'll be ready to pick up from Blackpool. And a few people have said to me, I'm not going to Blackpool. Can you post it to me? We've had a few people say that, so we put a couple to one side where we can post it to people, and we're doing that for 3 people so far. I think we've got another couple. So if you do want to have it posted, you know, while stocks last, let us know and we'll post it over to you or ship it over to you as well. No problem.
Amazing. I have a deal, but I have an ethical question. I don't know, like a slight moral dilemma, and I'd love to get your advice on it. So my Blackpool deal is I've got an exclusive launch of the gold vanishing elephant. Right, it's a bit more luxury looking. It's made out of 3D. It's not real gold. It's 3D filament, but it looks like gold. Vanishing elephant for like a more luxurious sort of performance, or if you just want a gold vanishing elephant, there's something. It just feels and looks really special when you perform it.
I've seen them. They look great.
Thank you. I got that. Plus, they get my Docs Para full lecture pack, which is the book, the 10 tricks in the book, the 8 extra tricks in the Meridian digital PDF, plus the materials you need for Acme Fo together, the special thing you need for the TNR, 3 apps. And thanks to Peter Nardi and Harry Nardi for saving my bacon, this new card morphing gimmick where a card visually morphs in a participant's hand. They see it morph.
That trick is insane. When you showed it me,
and that wasn't in the pack.
How are you giving this away? This is ridiculous. Killer.
Thank you, man. So that gimmick's in that pack only for Blackpool. You get all of it for £200. Because the gold vanishing elephant and the new gimmick would have taken it more. So it's a, you know, and collect in person. I only have 100 full sets to go to take, and I don't know. I slept late for the podcast today, so I haven't seen my emails overnight. But I only had 100 yesterday, and I'd sold a bunch anyway. So I don't know how many's going to be left. But I said collection only at Blackpool for these. But I've had, I just checked a few emails now, and I've got one here. I'm not going to be at Blackpool, but I want this. Can I ship it?
Yeah.
I don't know whether I've made a fuck up, or I don't know whether I'm being not fair to people who are literally not going to be there, like they're literally not in the position to get it, by saying...
Well, I had that same question, because I had a load of people message me and say, I'm not going to be at Blackpool. I'd really love your bundle deal. It's amazing. Please, is there something we can do? So I put a few of them to one side. I've put, I think 5 or 6, I don't know, Sarah organised it. I've put a few to one side, and I've said, look, you know, yes, we can. And if at Blackpool, it'll be a first come, first serve. So we'll take all ones that are remaining to Blackpool. And if they sell and then somebody says, can you ship me one? We'll go, well, we've got none left. But if while we're at Blackpool, somebody messages in saying, can you ship me one? We'll put that one to one side. Because, you know, some people can't afford to go to Blackpool, or maybe they've got work commitments, or maybe, you know, there's a million different reasons. And I don't want them to miss out because they're not going to be there. So the majority of my bundles are going to be at Blackpool and are for people at Blackpool, but I have put a couple of them aside.
My dilemma is, I can't remember. I mean, everything was such a fucking has been so insane. I don't know if I said Blackpool only. I think I did. So I feel like I couldn't tell people I said Blackpool only. Some people have bought it, and now I'm going to go back and say, actually, I'm shipping it too. I don't know if that's if I'm, you know what I mean? If that's morally,
I think people would understand, because the other thing is, I mean, I can't do this because these bundle deals, when they're gone, they're gone. But you can make more elephants. So if somebody came up to you at Blackpool and said, I want to buy the bundle deal, and you'd sold out because you'd allocated some of them to be shipped out to other people, you could say to them, well, pay me and I'll get them out to you within the week and you can get that special deal. So anybody who wants them from you at Blackpool will still be able to get them, even if they don't pick them up off you then, because you'll be able to make more. There's not like anything here that's you're not able to.
yeah. So I don't want someone to buy it and then be like, oh, hang on, I bought that because I could only get it in Blackpool, and now you've got it on your site anyway, or you're shipping it, which I think is a valid complaint, potentially a valid complaint. I mean, if someone was to complain about that, I wouldn't be like, oh, come on, you're being unrealistic here. I would be like,
I understand where you're coming from.
so I don't know, like there are people that are not going to Blackpool that want it. So I don't know. I don't know whether to. I don't know. I don't want to piss anyone off. I don't want to upset anyone. I'm just starting in business on my own, so I'm learning a lot of these things every single day and trying to do the right thing. And
all you can do is you can make that. You keep talking for a second. I have to take this. It's very important. But you keep
cool. You mute that, yeah. So I don't know that. Yeah. So I'll ask everybody listening to this. I'd love to know are you one of the people that have ordered one of the gold Vanishing Elephant Blackpool editions, and did you do it purely because I said it's only at Blackpool and I will not be shipping it? If that's the case, would it upset you if I supplied it to people who can't attend, or not? I don't know. I just want to do the right thing, so please let me know. At the end of the day, if somebody wants my work, I don't want to stop them from having it, but also I don't want to go back if I can't remember what I said on my video yesterday. But I don't want to go back on my word either. Terrible. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. This is the thing with, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that are independent as well. But that's the one thing with being an independent is that I'm constantly second guessing myself. Whereas before, when I worked for other companies, I'd say, oh, we should do this or we should do that, or can I do this? Can I do that? And then there would be a team of people that would then, sort of have a say, and they would direct it into a certain direction. There were things I didn't like about that, that would be oftentimes I think that really it would end up you'd have a fun, exciting idea to do, and it would end up being completely watered down and end up not being. By the time it reached the forefront, it would be really boring because everybody had a safe way of handling it.
I'm back.
What was that about? Or can you not say?
Yeah, it's to do with the thing.
Send me a message in an inbox. I can read it. Send it to me on chat because I'll keep talking. Yes, but the other thing is when you're independent, you can do anything you want and you don't have to even think twice about it. But on the flip side, you run the risk of doing something and then immediately regretting that decision. So in this case, I can't remember if I said it was Blackpool only. I think I said it's collection at Blackpool. That was the deal. I can't remember if I said I'm not shipping this. It's only at Blackpool. And I don't want to upset anyone. So I'd love some feedback. I'd love some advice in general as well in the comments section of this video of other people who are independents or work for themselves about second guessing yourself and when to make decisions or not. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, today is a good day. Today. What was the other thing I was going to say was, I can't remember, but yeah, so I was just saying, trying to get.
But also at the end of the day, I think people understand that you've just quit your job and you've quit your job to go full time as a creator. And I think they understand that the most important thing for any business, whether you're a self-employed magician, a self-employed creator, an agency, the most important thing is cash flow. Cash is king. And you know, Blackpool is a special time of the year because Blackpool is where, you know, people save up to buy deals. And there's some people that have bought a ticket for Blackpool, but for whatever reason, they can't go. And they love your stuff because they're aware of who you are. They follow you. I understand where you come. I don't think anybody would be too upset if you offered that deal to other people for a short period of time. Maybe you offered it just during the Blackpool weekend. Look, if you want access to this deal, I'm going to put it live on my website just over the Blackpool weekend. If, you know, if after the Blackpool weekend's finished, it's coming off the website. But if you want this, you can purchase it over that 4-day period that Blackpool is on, and it will be shipped out to you at some point when I get back.
Yeah.
So it's not on there forever, and it's just on there while Blackpool is on.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think I'll like to see what people say in their opinions. I would love to know because I just don't want to upset anyone. No, because like before I go as well, just to let people know who have been asking, we are shipping. So my issue now is that we're on target with building the Vanishing Elephants, making them for everyone that's ordered online. But I'm going away this week, and it takes us. We've just got a post office business account, but we don't know how to set it up yet because we have to call them. So the minute Kaylee, every order that comes in, Kaylee has to copy and paste their shipping details into the post office click and drop website, and then she has to put in the weight is exactly for every packaged order, so it can't even be like a 0.1 off, and then add that weight and then pay for shipping, and she can do a batch of 10 at a time. It takes her like, I don't know, it takes her like an hour to 45 minutes per set of 10 or something, and she got the 2 kids in the house too. So everyone that's emailed about when's mine shipping out, obviously, like, we've sent over half already. We've finished on the building of the elephants. Our issue is shipping while I'm away. So if you haven't had yours yet, it's either in this batch going out today when there's a load of them go in, like another couple hundred, or it'll be shipped when I get back from Blackpool. Unfortunately, Kaylee just cannot do it whilst I'm away for the week with the 2 kids.
Yeah.
So positive is we're ahead on the builds. But it's the distribution now. It's the logistics of getting these to the post office with your details. So yes.
That's the issue that you have when your sweatshop is your wife and you have 2 kids.
Yeah, yeah. So really, really, I'm really happy that we're in a great position on where we are on the builds. It's just getting them out the door now.
Can I give a shout out as well, by the way, on the sweatshop thing? Can I also give a shout out to how amazing Thomas and Holly Maloney have been for me? Like, I'm here dealing with a load of crap, and Tom, I know I take the piss out of him on the on the channel, but Tom literally spent the day in my office on Monday. He got all of the stock, of which there's so much. So much. When you see it laid out and you realize how much is in that bundle deal, it's ridiculous. Then him and his wife Holly were up all last night, bundling up individual bundles, wrapping them up in black saran wrap, and making sure that everything's in there. And you know, he did it because he's a really good friend, and that goes above and beyond. You know, it's I just have to shout him out because he's, you know, he may be a shit magician, but honestly, he's an amazing human being.
Yeah. He's a really, really. I always feel like Kaylee always says I have a good like spidey senses for people's character and who they are. Like I like genuine, like, that blow my own trumpet, but she'll have, you know, there'll be people in her life or our lives, and I'll be like, they're up to something. Or I don't know, I don't like that person for some reason. And then like years later it comes out like I would bang on. With Tom, I feel like he's a good soul. I just get it. Like I just get this fucking feeling like I should like to be around him.
Yeah.
Regardless of his terrible taste in home decoration. In flower.
Life, laugh, love, whatever.
Punt.
I mean, obviously this is kind of the pre-Blackpool episode. you've covered a lot of this in your video. Like, everyone should go check out Lloyd's video from the other day. It's amazing. It's a longer form video than for you. You don't normally do them this long. It's like well over an hour long, but you literally break down a ton of magic that is coming out of Blackpool this year. And you combine that with all of the dealer interviews that I've been doing, where I've been sitting down and chatting with dealers. And I put up an interview last night with Mark Elsden, where me and Mark spent 2 hours talking about all the stuff that he's seen, that he's excited about. I mean, this is genuinely going to be the biggest and best Blackpool yet, I think, Lloyd. What do you reckon?
Oh man, I'm so excited for this Blackpool more than ever before. It's like the biggest in every sense of the word. The most dealers, the most lectures, the most events, the most everything. I just want to say, that video I did put up yesterday.
It's amazing, by the way.
I had a couple of people being like, "Why didn't you feature my product? You can't." Let me be very clear. I have been all I was trying to do was just shed a light on the independents, right? Using the platform that I got, just trying to give back a little bit. I said in my APB that went out on social media, send me an email with the title Blackpool release, and I will do my best to feature as many of you as possible. I didn't get through every single email. I just literally don't have time, because in the middle of making stuff, elephants, the lecture packs, the other videos that I have dropping for Blackpool, I had to film it over 2 days as it was. I just couldn't commit any more time to it. And also, there were some people that didn't email. If you didn't email, like I helped James Keatley and Jake Keane with they have 2 sick new products coming out. One's called Charge by James Keatley. It's an amazing bank card effect, which you've got to go and see at a stand now, because I fucking didn't mention it. And one's by Jake Keane. It's a super practical, super visual vanishing key, and you can do a bunch of stuff with it. I actually went to Birmingham and filmed the trailers for them to help them, and still forgot to put them in the video. Right? That's how insanely. I literally went to your hood to film it, and still forgot to help shine a light on them and their independence. So everyone that I missed, I even missed my boys. Like, that's how fucking stupid I am. I forgot to talk about Charlie Hewish's pen from Velith Studio. So you got to go to his stand to see that in action, because it's insane. I missed so many people out. I think there was like 18 effects I was able to talk about on camera, and I still missed out. So I'm really sorry. It was no malice in it. I bloody love you all. I'm snowed under. But what are the things you're excited about?
I'm excited about the phone call that I got from Thomas yesterday, where he found in my warehouse the old Society of Secrets banners that you told me to destroy because you were going to use them at Blackpool once and one time only, and that's it. I found, so I'm bringing those with us. So you're going to have...
Oh, thanks, man.
We have a Society of Secrets banner behind the booth, as well as the Netflix banner, which is really cool. No, what am I excited for? I'm excited for hanging out with people. The thing is, and my experience of Blackpool, unfortunately, is very different to everyone else's experience of Blackpool, insofar as when you're on a booth, you miss a lot of the stuff that's going on in the day. Would I love to see Tobias Dostal's lecture? Yes, I interviewed Toby last week, and he's told me what's going in there, and it's amazing. Would I like to see the international close-up? Yes. Would I like to see John Morton's lecture? Yes. Am I super excited about Dave Loosely's lecture? Yes. Could I give you a list of lectures that I would go and see? Yes. In reality, I'm not going to see any of that. I'm going to be on the Penguin booth chatting to people, demming their stuff. When I'm not on the Penguin booth, I'm going to be up on my booth. And at some point, I need to be a dad, so I need to hang out with my kids. I want to see the shows in the evening. I'm very excited about the shows. I never miss the shows. I cannot miss the shows. And I don't understand. This is the thing I don't understand. I don't understand magicians that come to the convention, even if they're close-up magicians, and they don't go and watch the gala shows. The gala shows are incredible, and you can learn so much, even if you have no interest on ever performing on stage, and you are just wanting to be a close-up magician for the rest of your life. Just going and watching those gala shows will inspire you, and you will learn so much that you can infuse into your close-up magic. And a big chunk of the budget that Blackpool has is used on those gala shows. I don't understand why more people don't go and see them, but I see a lot of people, they go from the convention, they go back to their room, or they go to the Ruskin or the House of Secrets, whatever, and they never go to the shows. And I think that's personally a mistake, a shame. I'm really looking forward to seeing the one. I've heard that the acts in the one this year are brilliant. I hope I can disappear from the stand long enough to see the Family Entertainer of the Year competition, because there's some incredible acts in there this year, and I think it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to Jack Rhodes' show. I think Jack show is going to be killer. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I think the gala show is going to be brilliant. But outside of all of that, I'm looking forward to hanging out with people. And the one message that I want to give everybody, whether this is your first Blackpool, your 10th Blackpool, your 20th Blackpool, like I said earlier on, it can be overwhelming. It can be kind of like, oh my God, what the hell? It can be like that. Here's what you do. Make full use of the fact that you're around all of these magicians. If there's a magician that you like, go over and say hello to them. Go and introduce yourself. They are, it sounds cheesy, but they've got something in common with you. They love magic. You love magic. So go and hang out with them. And for anybody here that's listening, I want to hang out with magicians. I'm going to be out every evening. I'm going to be back sensibly because I'm 50 this year, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the booth if I hang out till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning every day. But I'm going to be out. I'm going to be sessioning. I'm going to be hanging out with people. And, if you want to come up and say hi to me, to Lloyd, to anybody, just come up and say hi. Come up and show us a trick. Don't be shy. Please, please don't be shy. Because what happens is every single Blackpool, it's the same thing. I get messages from people going, oh, I was at Blackpool and I saw you, but I was too scared to come over and say hello. I come over and say hi. I love magic. I love seeing magic. If you come over to me, one of my very first questions is going to be, show me a trick. Have a trick ready to show people. It doesn't have to be the greatest trick in the world, but that's what we're there for. We're there to share magic with each other, and that's our common ground, and we get to all hang out together doing that. So the thing I'm most excited about is hanging out and seeing magic. Every year, without fail, the best magic I see is not in the lectures, it's not on the gala shows, it's not in the dealer hall. The best magic I see is somewhere sitting down in a pub, sitting down with a couple of magicians, and they show me something. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the best thing I've ever seen. The best magic you will ever see is the magic that takes place outside of the formal side of the convention, when you're hanging out with friends and they're showing you something, or you're introduced to a magician that you've never even heard of before, that you don't even know who they are, and they blow your ever-loving fucking mind with something is the best trick ever. That happens to me every single year, and that's the best part of Blackpool, in my opinion.
Same. I'm exactly the same. If when I'm at Blackpool, there's so much stuff to see, but often a product is presented to you like as a product, and then sometimes you'll be sitting there jamming, and someone will just do something, and you're not expecting it at all, and it absolutely fucking destroys your mind. Like it's all what they say, that the old adage is that the best stuff you see at the convention is at 3 a.m. at the bar, and none more so true than ever is Blackpool, I think. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's a place where you can kind of hang out with each other, and it's just Blackpool's fucking amazing. Let's be honest, Blackpool is absolutely amazing. And what do you think? Actually, let me ask you a question. What do you think? Because I've spoken to a lot of dealers, and almost every single dealer, without like exception, has said they're not too sure about this 4-day thing. I think for the punters, it's going to be amazing. It's an extra day. They've got more acts. They've got more lectures. The really popular lectures are being done twice, which means that there's more chance that everyone's going to see them without queuing. There's a bunch of stuff. It's great. My question is, what do you think about it from a dealer's point of view? Most dealers I've spoken to have said they don't know if they're going to make any more money, because I think that they think that what they're going to do is the people that are buying are going to spread their purchase out over 4 days instead of 3. Do you think that's the case, or do you think they'll make more money? Or I think there's more magicians here than ever before. I think this is the busiest one ever. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I don't really like I had a dealer stand years ago, for Enigma, and I didn't spend any time on it. Then I had my lecture, 2023 or 24.
We're on there for 15 minutes, I think.
I was on there for an hour, and then left.
And down the pub.
No, I didn't drink. But I left. Well, I was a bag of nerve. I had just done my lecture. What happened was, for that instance, it was a bit of a different scenario to this, which was I did my lecture. I opened Blackpool on the arena stage, so and it was packed out. They had to close the doors, wouldn't let people in. Did my lecture, walked off, sold a shit ton of the packs, and then when I went up to the dealer's table, people just wanted to do photographs and autographs. And I was like, I was really struggling at the time. I was speaking about it a lot, but with social anxiety, I'd been really in a bad place because I quit drinking fairly recently back then. Since I'm coming up to 5 years sober now, but I was really struggling being around people. So I was just being swarmed up there, and Kaylee was there with me helping. Alex Bow was there with me helping. I think Jake was there, and a bunch of people. And I just really struggled, so I closed the booth down, and left. This year is going to be different though, because I'm loving life. Life is good, and I'm happy around people. But from a business point of view, I don't know. I think like I can't imagine it being bad. Right? It's an extra.
It'll be busier. I think it'll be busier. I mean, time will tell, but I think there's such a buzz, and I think people have been saving up this. Yeah, I think it'll be good. But here's the other question for you, Lloyd, that a lot of people have been saying. Have you noticed a lot of the big dealers aren't there this year?
I know. Vanishing's not there.
Vanishing Ink is not there this year. Saturn Magic is not there this year. Which is
not there this year.
Saturn's not there this year. And also Monster Magic, Alex, he's not there this year.
What? Why are they not here then?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just like crazy. I mean, this is the second year that Vanishing Ink aren't here. But in terms of, as we talked about last week, but in terms of like Saturn, they're definitely not here. In terms of Monster Magic, definitely not here. He did his review show on the Saturday, and he said the reason he's not coming is because he's just too busy to take the time off. He can't leave the warehouse. He's in London. Blackpool's up north. It's about a 6-hour drive, and he's getting orders in all of the time, and he can't afford to take effectively a week off, which is what you need to take off in order to do Blackpool, because you have to be there on the Tuesday to set up for the Wednesday, and you're not really getting back. You're not leaving back until the Monday, which means you're probably not going to get back until Monday night, Tuesday. So it is effectively a week.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he can't, because he's like he's the fastest shipper in the West.
Yeah.
He's the fastest shipper in the West. So, yeah. Well, I mean, it's good in the sense in that it distributes especially for like the smaller shops out there, like the Slight Co and Twisted Minds Magic and everything. It means there's more people, there's more to go around, and they can establish themselves a little bit better. Like I said earlier, like a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
So there are positives to it. And it's a shame we're not going to be able to play on the Vanishing Ink Bouncy Castle, though.
I know. Maybe Andy will just bring it and put it up in the car park. Or... will Andy still be there? Is that if you? I mean, I don't even know. We joke about the Bounty Castle. Does anyone know why Vanishing Ink aren't there? I'm assuming it's because they've just had the session and they've just had Magi Fest, and they're kind of thinking that their people, their crew, would probably go to one of those two, and Blackpool isn't worth doing. But I would think for somebody their size, Blackpool would always be worth doing.
Yeah, Does it cost loads to? I can't. How much does it cost to have? Because they take up like 3 or 4 booth space, don't they?
They do.
How much would that cost? It can't be that much.
I don't, but by most people's standards, it's probably a decent chunk. By Andy Gladwin's standards, I think he probably would find it in his sock drawer.
Yeah.
The suspense is killing me.
I'm trying to sort out shipping issues a second on my website. The background.
Apparently, the suspense is killing you.
Yeah, I accidentally pressed the microphone button and on ChatGPT because I'm trying to figure out what the options are, and it's screwing me out. Not very good.
That's funny.
Yeah. Are there any exclusive? I found out as well, and let's see if anyone else can uncover this. But I found out that there's a secret magic trick built into the Blackpool Magic app.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what it is, and can you find it?
I'm now going to look.
And by the way, Lou Chen is performing, it says.
Okay.
At Blackpool.
I don't know. I haven't really. Really?
Lou fucking Chen is performing in a gala show or something.
Oh, wow. That's good.
The Lou Chen. That can't. What the hell? Is that true?
I don't know. I
haven't seen many people talking about it at all, but like, Lou fucking Chen.
Well, that would be amazing.
Have you ever seen his ACAT?
I've never seen his ACAN, no. I've seen him, but not live. But I've seen clips of him. I know who you're talking about. Maybe I'm not as excited as you because I don't really fully know everything that the guy's done.
Oh my god, he's one of the biggest magicians in the world. He's insane.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so you're in Blackpool now, aren't you?
I am, which is why I'm filming it here. I'm currently in my apartment, yes. We came early because Ryan's got some shows that he's doing. So Ryan's performing at the Showtown Museum. So if you have, by the way, if you're in Blackpool and you want a good couple of hours fun, go to the Showtown Museum. It is a museum, an interactive museum dedicated to entertainment, live entertainment, and in Blackpool specifically. And we got a chance to have a look around it yesterday, and it's amazing. There's so many really super fun exhibitions and exhibits, and there's a big magic section, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, but Ryland's there performing with Mark Waddington. So Mark Waddington, Thea, and Ryland are performing there, doing a bunch of shows, and so that's why we've come down early. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But well, this is going to be but I think we're going to come out as changed men from the other side of this Blackpool. I'll tell you that for nothing. This feels like a crazy one.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be the best one yet. I'm looking forward to meeting people I've never met before. I'm looking forward to connecting to old friends. I just think it's going to be amazing.
Where is our stand?
It's in the horseshoe somewhere.
Where's the horseshoe? Is that?
It's the bit that goes around the outside.
Are we inside or outside it?
Outside it.
Okay, cool. Who are we next to?
I don't know. I tell you who we're opposite because it's hilarious. We're opposite N2G.
Oh, you've given them grief, haven't you?
I put 4 of their tricks in the worst tricks of 2010 list.
Oh my god.
Worst tricks of 2025 list. I rip into almost every trick they do. They're frustrating because they're really good, but their tutorials are like 3 minutes long. Ridiculous. So, but they're good. But yeah. So
have they ever acknowledged that they've seen your reviews?
I had a text message off them asking me if I would review N13, which is their new one.
Yeah.
I said yes. I said, but I haven't got it. Yeah, I think they're launching it at Blackpool. It's a spinny coin thing. Remember last year, everyone was doing the spinny coin thing.
Oh yeah.
When they've got their own spinny coin thing, but apparently it's a more practical version of the spinny coin thing. So, so yeah, that's the new thing that N2G have got. But I'm lucky that I'm not going to be on the stand that much because they could.
I'm gonna have to deal with the shit for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the N2G hate for me.
I'll put my sunglasses on. Sorry, no hairs today. No hairs. Sorry.
Hey, You know what's really weird? I got to tell you something.
You have to go see a doctor about that, mate.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is hilarious. Just hilarious. So who does this? Who does this? I get 2 messages, right? I get 2 messages. Trying to find it. I can't find it anywhere. So I get 2 messages. I don't know where they are. Oh, actually, I might be able to find them. Hang on. These come through in the middle of the night a couple of days ago. I've got to tell you this. Here we go. This is the first one. And it comes through from an actual magician. And it's not a fake. They fill in a contact form on my website. And I know it's the person whose name is on there is the person that left I thought maybe it would be a fake thing, but I rang them. And it is the same person. So they leave a message. They fill 2 contact forms in the middle of the night, and they send them through to me at midnight. And the first one is, here we go, get this. Please stop presenting your child as an illusionist. It's embarrassing to the art of magic. And please stop using the word cunt. It's disrespectful and
I had the same email.
Huh?
I had the same email.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's disrespectful, and our fathers, Blackstone and the other greats, would never have spoken like that. And then sends another email, another contact form. Obviously, that's not enough. So 10 minutes later, another contact form. Craig, stop. You are forgetting the masters, Harben, Thurston, etc. You had the same one, did you?
Not as detailed as that, but carry on.
So I had that in the middle of the night. And I was it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Because say what you want about me, that's absolutely fine. But who messages in the middle of the night to slag off a child to their dad? Who does that? What sort of deranged individual does that? Just messages on a contact form going, your son's embarrassing and he's ruining the art of magic.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
No, I got that. Well, obviously, because your son's too young to embarrass the art of magic. Give him a few years. But mine is, please stop presenting your child as an illusionist. It's embarrassing to the art of magic. So I ring the guy up, which is probably the difference between you and me. I was just like, I'm ringing him up. I'm going, hey, I'm not going to say his name. Hey, is that blah? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can I just check? Did you send a contact form through my website in the middle of the night? Yes. Yes, I did. Brilliant. Why do you think that's okay? Why do you think it's okay to insult my son and just send me a message? It's like that thing that you say to people from time to time, where you bring up that whole thing about guitar lessons, that Ricky
Gervais thing where he's like, yeah, why does someone walk past an advert for guitar lessons and call the phone number off the advert saying, I don't want fucking guitar lessons?
Yeah, like that. So this guy doesn't like Ryland's performances, and so he decides to tell me to stop because it's embarrassing the art of magic. And I have a 15-minute conversation with him. I say conversation, it's a little heated, but I have a 15-minute conversation. I'm like, dude, I get you obviously don't like Ryland. And look, I would be the first to tell you he's not the greatest magician in the world because he's fucking 13 years old. He's going to get better. He's going to improve, but he's very, very good. And at the age of 13, he's done BGT, he's done AGT, he's done Blue Peter, he's won the Comedy Award at the Magic Circle. You know, he's done a lot. He's done more than most. I said, I get that you don't like Ryland's performance, and that's fine. That's your prerogative, and that's cool. But why do you think it's okay to message me about it and tell me that my son is embarrassing? Why is that okay? How in your head is that okay? Because he's ruining the art of magic, because you're pushing him out there and forcing him to do performances, and it's making magic look bad. And I said to him, hang on a minute. First of all, ask anyone who knows Ryland. Nobody forces him to do fuck all. Me and Sarah actually try to stop him from doing as much as he does because we'd like him to do less magic, but he won't. He won't listen. He does magic 24/7. He loves it, right? So, and obviously as his dad, I'm going to encourage that. but I'm not pushing him out there. And then secondly, it's subjective. He went, no, it's not. It's shit. I'm like, no, it's subjective.
Wow.
Let me explain. I said, he's got the contract this year to do a bunch of dates at a holiday park company down John Fowler. He's doing a load of John Fowler holiday parks. Now, he got those because they asked him to come in and do a show. He did a show. All of the audience then fill in feedback forms, and the Ents manager reported back to the agent saying, oh my God, the show was amazing. We need to book this kid again. So through 2026, he's got a bunch of dates, and that came about as a result of him going to do a show in a holiday park in front of a few hundred people, 1,000 people or whatever it was. And off the back of his performance, they booked him for numerous dates. They've got tons of magicians that they can book for their holiday parks. They didn't book because, like, they know me. I'd never even heard of them before. They booked because Ryland went in and did a really good job. I said, I could give you a list of people that have booked Ryland and had feedback, because I'm an agent, so I book in these shows, and everyone gets a feedback form, and they've paid to have Ryland there, and then the feedback form comes back, and it's 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. The amount of people that will book again and say, I want to book again, but I want to have Ryland. So you saying that he's embarrassing the art of magic and he's doing more kids get excited about Ryland coming in, get excited about doing magic because they see Ryland than anyone else. Is he the best magician in the world? No. But to say he's ruining the art of magic and he's embarrassing is factually inaccurate. And I have this conversation with him, and he said, okay, I'll apologize. I shouldn't have said that about your son. I was pissed off because you said the word cunt. And I'm like, all right, here's what it is. You settled down onto Magic TV. You watched the podcast. You didn't like the language that me and Lloyd were using. And so you decided to take it out on me in the middle of the night by sending me a message, taking the piss out of my son. That's where we are. That's where it is, isn't it? And he's like, well, you shouldn't be speaking like that. I'm like, I can speak however I want to. No, there's kids that watch your channel. I'm like, yeah, there might be kids that watch my channel. But you know what? 2 things. One, any kids that watch my channel, there is a warning that comes up right at the start of these videos saying there's going to be bad language. And second of all, I don't think that using bad language is a bad thing. Ryland swears. I'm not going to stop my son from swearing. I don't think swearing is a socially bad thing to do. And me and Lloyd come from a place where when we're on the phone with each other, that's exactly how if we weren't swearing, that would be artificial. And that's not what the podcast is all about. He's like, what about the dads of the kids that are watching your content? And I'm like, well, just don't watch the podcast. But what if you want to? What if you want to watch the content? Well, then watch one of the other fucking 15 videos a week that I put up where I'm not swearing. I just miss out the podcast. And you just couldn't get it. And I just ended up saying, right, okay, we're not going to get anywhere. Don't ever contact me again. I don't want you speaking to my son, and I don't want to ever see you or hear from you again. Please don't watch my shit. And I hung up on him. But, like, it's frustrating for a couple of reasons. One, his real issue was with the podcast. His real issue was with the vulgarity of the podcast. And he decided, because he was so pissed off, he'd take it out by contacting a dad in the middle of the night twice and slagging off his son to him. And just that sort of shit.
I didn't get that fucking
me off.
Was he drunk?
Well, he wasn't when I spoke to him the next day, but he was standing by his convictions. So I don't know. What do you think of this? I didn't realize he'd messaged you as well.
Well, on slagging the whole, on which point of it, which part of it?
But all of it.
Slagging off. It's unfathomable that someone can attack a child for putting themselves, like, on the attacking of Ryland, like the abuse of Ryland, for putting himself out there performing. What's the intention? Right?
Well, his intention.
If say Ryland was doing something bad, like maybe he was accidentally exposing something when he was performing it, yeah. And I was like, okay, he needs to improve here. I'd message you as his dad, and I say, yo, Craig, I can see an area here where you could use some improvement. From my experience, I would do it this way. If you want, I'm happy to give him some tuition, right? constructive criticism, guidance. Does that guy think that he wasn't? Does the guy think that he was automatically just good at magic, and he never didn't start off as a beginner? Because what's when you're abusing a child like that? What's the intention? Just to knock him down, just to try and break his confidence? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's some deeply insecure shit going on there. That's a problem with themselves. But I had the email from someone anyway. I don't know if it's the same guy, but
Do you want to put his name in the chat? I don't want to say his name. I don't think it's fair. But did you give you?
I tried to reply and I didn't, and I kept bouncing back from his email address. So I actually reached out to him on Instagram to make sure that he got the reply as well. The guy was from Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, I've just put his name in the chat.
Yeah, same guy. So I had a message saying, as a working professional in the industry, I need to address something directly. Hearing you use language like cunt on the podcast wasn't just unnecessary, it was unprofessional. I think he used ChatGPT because it's got the hyphens and it sounds like that. Anyway, whether you see it that way or not, you're representing the magic community every time you publish an episode. The standards of this craft were built long before any of us, and it's disappointing to see them undermined for the sake of shock value. If you want to position yourself as a leader or voice in the industry, the professionalism needs to reflect that. The future of magic deserves better. So I wrote back and I said, hey, Name, I appreciate you taking the time to email me and I hope you're keeping well. I said, it's nice to hear an opposing opinion, and this is the first time that I've ever received a direct email about this. I said, essentially, unfortunately, where I'm from, cunt is a colloquial word used day to day in this part of the world. The whole point of the Magic Podcast, the very reason we started it, was to share magic without any on-screen personas switched on. We are 100% true, authentic, and unfiltered, and our unfiltered selves. We speak as though we're in the comfort of our own homes, and place a very, very big warning before the podcast starts to state that there will be language used and topics that some people might find offensive. The podcast, our language, or content will never change, as that would be inauthentic. It defeats the purpose as to why we started the podcast, and worse, it would kill what makes it the most listened to and popular podcast in the industry. One of our biggest goals with the podcast was to actually do away with some of the archaic standards of the craft that both myself and Craig disagree with. It's a brave new world, and myself and Craig are choosing our own path, and we're fortunate so many other magicians are choosing to take that path with us. But I want to be clear, nobody is being forced to follow our journey or our personal choices. That being said, there are some truly incredible podcasts out there that prohibit the use of colourful language and adult subjects. I feel you would enjoy them far more than ours. The Magicians Podcast Network is particularly brilliant and probably far more suited to your taste. I cannot recommend them highly enough. However, we can't do any more than we already do. We place a giant warning at the start of our show, and we always, no matter what, be ourselves. Different strokes for different folks, though. No offence taken from me here, and I hope you take no offence either. Would be great to chat more if you're at Blackpool, and thank you for being the first to reach out about this. It's given me something to reflect upon. Best wishes, Lloyd. And I didn't use ChatGPT to write that.
See, you're far more diplomatic than me. I think he touched a nerve with the whole Ryland.
Of course, yeah, I didn't realise he'd said that. That's not right. If he genuinely was passionate, if he genuinely cares about magic, the way he says he does, about, the craft and the art, then you see one of the young guns, and if you think there's something they can improve upon, help them.
Yeah. You've seen Ryland at conventions, how passionate he is about magic. And
I've seen Ryland in many different scenarios. There are times when he wants to do magic, and you cannot stop him. And there are times when he doesn't want to do magic and just play fucking Rocket League or play Lego, and you cannot stop him. That boy has more free reign than any child I know. Any child that I know.
Yep.
So it's like complaining. It'd be like someone complaining to Kaylee about me doing magic, or her making me do magic. She'd be like, "Fuck off! Try and stop him. Try and fucking stop him."
And the bottom line is, you're going to see him at the Blackpool Magic Convention while all of his mates are running around going to lectures and stuff. He's going to be on the Trick Magic booth all weekend, demoing magic. Not because he's been told to, not because he's been asked to, but because he desperately wants to.
Yeah. I don't know. It says a lot about these people that do these things behind the scenes, if I'm being honest. But it's a strange world that, and maybe it's not strange, right? Because what we think is rational behavior and a normal way to live, to some people is completely absurd. For example, in the whole scenario that you're going through with Yigal, he must believe, because he does this so often, that it's completely normal to disagree with someone and then try and sue them for it or financially drain them because of it.
Yeah,
That to me makes absolutely. That to me is the ramblings of a psychopath. Essentially, it's the behavior of a psychopath. But I've traveled extensively around the world to completely different cultures. Some people are just different. I've been to India, I've been to Vietnam, I've been to South Korea, I've been to all over Europe, I've been all over the States. Everyone's got a different way of living, and maybe that's just the way that he thinks is normal.
Yep.
He may not. To us as men in the UK, that is what you do. It's what you would describe as a bitch move. It's really humiliating behavior. If I would be too ashamed to sell someone. If I did that, if I was suing someone for that, I would have to put a gagging order on the entire thing. And if anyone in my local circle found out that I was trying to do that to someone, I would not be able to step foot in my town again. Absolute shame.
Yeah.
Some people don't think it's something. You might even be proud of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Look, I know that he thinks that this is what's best for the industry. This is what's best for the community. He's emailed out and said words to that effect that, good news for the Magic community. This is good news. What is happening right now is good news for the Magic community. So, this which is fine. Like I say.
Well, power to him, yeah. Hey, you're standing up for what you think is right. I think you are. I think you're on the right side of history. Luckily, the majority of the community does too. But so does he. That is kind of the whole point. Like, both of you should be able to do that without fear of.
Well, here's the thing. I would love nothing. I would love nothing more than to just have this go away and maybe, find common ground. Which is what happened with me and Luke Dancy. We had a very public feud. I've got his name tattooed on my arm because of that feud. But me and Luke are now fine. Me and Luke are absolutely fine. We found common ground and we've moved on. And I can't wait to see him at Magic Live where I'm going to buy him a beer. It's absolutely fine. I think but whatever. That ship has sailed. So we move on. And now I can stand by the tattoo because I really do love Luke Dancy now. Luke, if you're listening to this, love you. I always
thought the beef between you and him was so bizarre because I've only ever had good dealings with Luke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a weird beef. It really was. Out of all of the ones, I seem to have had a lot of these feuds, and I genuinely, maybe I'm just a polarizing bastard. I don't know what it is. I tend to, maybe I need to sit them down. Maybe I need to right. I need to ring a few people up. Come on, Michael Webber. Come on, Luke Dancy. Bring it in. Let's have a chat. Let's find out why this began, so we can make sure it doesn't happen here. I might get my old mate from Unbiased. I'll give him a call. Find out what's going on. I'll do a round table, like just a group Zoom call. That'd be a Zoom call everybody would want to be in, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Jesus.
Well, you've made friends. I mean, yeah. I think you've made friends with most people now.
Yeah. Hey, David from Unbiased. Me and him are now tight. I did an interview with him. Everything is fine with me and David. Luke Dancy, fine. Look, Michael Webber, we kind of don't talk, but I'm having dinner at Blackpool with Tim Trono. So me and Tim, I interviewed Tim. Me and Tim are cool. So pretty much everyone I've had a feud with. Hey, you never know. In 5 years' time, maybe me and Mr. Masika will be skipping down the beach, hand in hand, sipping margaritas. I don't know. You never know what's around the corner, but not right now. Not right now.
Get this squared away first. Win the case.
There's no
recover funds, donate to charity, become friends. That's the circle we're gonna go in. That's the arc it's gonna take.
Exactly. But it is 10 o'clock, and I was supposed to go 45 minutes ago. You got your ass up out of bed late. Even then, we've still been going for 2 hours, so we are going to have to wrap this up. We can do a super long Blackpool wrap-up next week. But, I mean, the cool thing is, a lot of people that are listening to this, they are going to be at the podcast meetup tomorrow afternoon. So...
And shout out to Stuart Etheridge, who asked us to do a podcast a day earlier so that people could listen to it on the drive up. What a great suggestion. And here it is. That's because of you. So everyone give a shout out to Stuart Etheridge when you see him. Buy him copious amounts of alcohol and shots and strippers and drugs, and because of him, we are infesting your brains with me half not even focused on this podcast replying to people. I'm sorry.
I think Lloyd will be way more focused next week. Right now, he's kind of trying to figure out elephant logistical issues while his sweatshop is beavering away in another part of his estate, desperately trying to make more elephants.
I have so much work to do. I've got to post a load more out now. Right then, yes, let's wrap this up. We're going to see you all tomorrow, motherfuckers.
Yes, we fucking will. Oh, and for anybody who doesn't like the podcast because they don't like the way we swear, all I can say is cunt, 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 cunt.
Cunt, 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 cunt.
In fact, before we wrap up, hang on a minute. Here we go. I've got it. Okay. For everybody, I'd just like to wrap up this special episode of the podcast by just playing a little song, my favorite song, that really kind of, I think, speaks to the heart of the podcast and, why it's so special. Would you like to hear a little song to play us out, Lloyd?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Hang on.
You came into our lives with the promise of a new. If only we knew what you could do. Showed us everything you wanted us to see, but never showed us what a shit you could be. You are a cunt. You're a cunt. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A cunt is what you are.
You don't get this on the Other Magic podcast.
The constant manipulation. Don't hear our cries, just interrogation. Everything you do is their fault. Gaslighting us until we can't. You are a cunt. You're a cunt. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A cunt is what you are. Now we don't want you and you can't stand it, even though it was you who lied to the country and planned it. Every step you took to manipulate, to tell the world patriots are the ones we should hate. You are the narcissist, and we hate you. You are a cunt. You're a cunt. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A cunt is what you are. Every stupid stunt, you're a cunt. Every word you say, you're a cunt. Every lie you tell, you're a cunt. We tried to keep things civil. In the end,
You
you
can stop it
made
there.
us ill, and now we are united.
20 seconds left. We've got to finish the song.
Fine.
Together we now all take a stand, but the truth will come out in the end. Alright, you are a cunt. you are, you'll never be happy. You're a cunt, and that's just a fact. You're a cunt.
See you next week on the Magic Podcast.
Have a shit week. Have a shit ton of Blackpool. Don't fuck kids.
Don't fuck kids. Bye, bitches.
We apologize for disrupting your normal daily schedule. You may now relax, tuck your deck back in, and resume your regular day-to-day life. Remember to subscribe to be notified the moment each new episode goes live every Wednesday. And join our Facebook group to continue the conversation. The link is in the description to this podcast. Thank you for listening to The Magic Podcast.